thank you so much. It's very nice to be here. Um, my original purpose in volunteering to speak was not that I felt like I had anything monumental to say, but the fact that Duncan had expressed a concern that some people were not able to participate due to various reasons. And he was a little concerned that it might be a bit shorter. So I said, oh, well, if he's got extra time to fill, I'll say a few words. So I wasn't ever sure whether I would get an opportunity for anybody to hear these, but I just had some thoughts I chose to share. I have to confess that of the many talks that I've heard today, my remarks seem a bit trite, but it is my personal experience and perhaps someone can benefit from it. When my husband and I retired, we sold our campground. We moved into a very small cottage on the lake shore here in Ontario. I knew life was going to be different in many ways, but I didn't know exactly how that was going to work out. As a newly retired couple, there were the usual expectations, at least usual here in Ontario. We bought a camping trailer and renewed an activity we had enjoyed before we bought a campground, because after you buy a campground, you don't get to go anywhere. We had a motorcycle and we explored parts of rural Eastern Ontario. And we took up playing our guitars again after about a 25-year interim. And we joined a small, friendly local group that played together. And so we also had gradually become more involved in our church, which was a Christadelphian ecclesia. Okay, and we talked about ways we might be of service now that we had more time, more experience, and more knowledge. We had helped out at St. Lucia, which had a small group of members that needed regular support. And all the residents there spoke English, which made it a little less terrifying as a very, very first opportunity to preaching anywhere except right here in North America. By this time, we had become familiar with Duncan's work in Riga at the Bible Center and asked ourselves, should we go? I asked myself more than Jim did, but I have to confess, I felt extremely hesitant and overwhelmed. I had never even been outside of North America. What if I needed something? Maybe medical assistance. And I didn't speak the language. How would I deal with the idea of the strange, confusing currency, which was like nothing I was familiar with? There were international travel, there was customs, there was travel insurance, medical insurance. The concerns to me seemed endless. Jim's calm and steadying influence finally prevailed. And we called Duncan and had a chat with him several times. And he calmed my fears as well. He told me that his 80-year-old mother comes, and she's practically blind, doesn't speak the language, and she gets along fine. He said, "I'm sure you'll do well." So I believed him. To make a long story short, we did do fine and had lots of wonderful experiences, some funny stories. We met wonderful, supportive brothers and sisters and fed a lot of hungry people hot soup on cold, wintry days when they had nowhere else to go. Most didn't speak English, but they conveyed their heartfelt gratitude by whatever language they knew. It might be Russian, it might be Latvian, it might be signs and gestures. There was an elderly lady who went through the line for her second bowl of soup, and all she could find to communicate with me was this. And it said it all. There were also big smiles, and there was a little bit of English. I have never done anything else that has brought so much into my life. It's often hard work, shopping, preparing 75 liters of soup, chopping vegetables, then serving, cleaning, and sanitizing the kitchen to get ready for the next day. Then get up the next morning and do it all over again. I'm so thankful that God didn't let my fears hold me back from the wonderful things I experienced. One of the major changes brought about was my recognition of God's hand at work in my entire life. Going back many years, I can now see the results of choices I thought I was making. But now I can see that God put those circumstances in place to shape and mold me for His purposes. Thank you for listening and letting me share my story with you. May God bless and keep you all.